So let's start. Once again, thank you very much for joining the 3 exercises that drastically will change your team awareness, intention, and impact workshop. So whoever does not know me, well, there are a lot of people here. So I'm an agile coach, trainer, and consultant. I'm also founder of Prime Project. We are helping different companies to transform how the teams collaborate and how the work gets done. Actually, I have more than 17 years of experience, like leading teams, helping companies, like working with agilists like yourself. So I have helped more than 50 companies, coached more than 200 teams, and trained more than 3,000 individuals. I'm not sure about the numbers, honestly, but from what I've got from my database, that seems to be real. So let's just do a small warm-up. I'm pressing on this second section, like what is a high-performing team to you? What I would like you to do is to go into the section that you see, simply like double-click and create a sticky note and write your ideas here. What is a high-performing team to you? Okay, let's do that very quickly. I'm going to put a timer here so that we follow up with the time. Let's say 1 minute. Yeah, if you have any questions, any issues with the mural, just let me know, but it should be easy. So as this is going to be a workshop, I really hope that all of you are going to participate. It's not a webinar format, so I'm not going to talk much in terms of, like theory, but we are going to do a lot of practice. So what is a high-performing team to you? Okay, good. The time is over. Thank you very much for your comments. So what is it? Let's see. Highly skillful people working towards the same goal. Nice. Delivering high quality result in a timely manner. Very good. Improve velocity through the time. Not sure about this. Meet sprint goals. Okay. Engage, delivering what it commits to. Okay. All deliveries, I guess, are done in advance. Self-organized teams, yep. When the team exceeds the expectations or keeps its high performing consistently. This is a good one. Thank you so much. So let me just very quickly, let us just go through this. What is a high performing team? So usually high performing teams are characterized by a high sense of morale. Like they know what they are doing. You have written about it, right? They know their goals. They have their agreements, their values and norms, and they are focusing on the results that they are getting. They can deal with conflict easily, and they can prevent those from escalating. That's important. Also, another important point here is that, any team can occasionally reach the goals targets, right? But the high performing teams exceed expectations again and again without burnout. That's also an important point here. And something that I also realized during my experience is that team performance or increasing team performance is more about like increasing team awareness, intention, and impact than anything else. So the better we are prepared, the more we understand where we are and what we are doing, the more constant we can be. And that's where actually our team agreements, our preliminary rules, our preliminary work is helpful, because people, they actually, they do not like committing to, resolving superficial challenges. They usually do not like dealing with changes that come at the very last moment. They usually do not know how to behave themselves, but when unexpected things happen and if they have not dealt with it before. So what they need to be performing and actually to be happy being on that team are the clarified intentions, focused attention, They don't like obligations, but they more focus on simplicity and the positive energy that we are putting in our teamwork. So those are some of the characteristics of good goals and good actions that people would like to be accountable for. So what's the strategy of today's workshop? So as I said, there are three main areas usually that we need to focus on when we are working with our teams and we want to increase their performance. The first thing is the responsibility. We are not going to talk about the responsibility model and stages of the responsibility, but there are three important things that we do when we are acting from a responsibility state. So the responsibility, again, it's about the freedom of choice, right? It's about taking ownership for your own decisions. So what we do is the awareness. We are understanding in which responsibility state we are. We are clarifying our intentions. So once we understand where we are, what we are going to do with that information, right? And then confront. So at the moment that we understand that we are in this stage, that we want to do these things, we have to change our behavior accordingly. We have to make actions and create the necessary impact or change, right? The second area is about the value delivery. So this is where actually we are using our agile solutions like frameworks, practices, etc. And so there are three important elements here that we are focusing. It's the business side, right? The business requirements, the business needs, the market needs, the customers. Then it's the solution, what we are actually building and how we are doing it, how we make sure that we create value. And then how do we collaborate to do it, right? And the third part is the motivation. Maybe some of you have seen the video by Daniel Pink about motivation, where he talks about autonomy, mastery, and purpose. So in order for people to be really happy about what they are doing and perform well, they need autonomy. They need autonomy, meaning that they want to have the ownership, they want to have the ability to make own choices, right? Mastery, they want to grow, they want to improve their skills, and the purpose, they need to have clear goals on what they are doing. So in terms of these areas, there are three main questions that you might want to ask your teams. The first one is who we are. So who we are as a team, how well do we know each other as team members? Why does actually our team exist? The second question is, what is the glue that is keeping us together? What are the agreements that we have made together to be working together through what we are doing? And the third question is, like, what do we strive for? What are our purposes? What are our goals? And of course, all of these areas, they cannot be, let's say, resolved by three simple exercises. So there are many, many ways that you can address all of those areas and help your teams perform better. But I've picked like three exercises that we can do together today. The first one is the team mission statement. The second one, we are going to do together the performance tree about the values, norms, and results. And the third one, we are going to talk about the goals, decisions, and actions. Okay, so the first one, let's jump in. The team mission statement. Before we proceed, please put in the chat, like, how many of you have actually done or created a team mission statement together with your teams? How many of you have it right now? Just put a plus in the chat so that I know how many of you have it. How many of you are aware of this exercise? Okay, Gaia has it. Who else? Okay, so very good. So you have never tried it. Very good. So we are going to do this together. Okay, so the team mission statement, you can think of it as the elevator pitch, elevator statement that, like the startup owners are preparing to present their idea to potential investor, to the company, and to gain interest in their product. So let's think from that perspective. Team mission statement actually answers to three main questions. What do we do as a team? How do we do it? And why do we do it? So it's your kind of like a small version of your pitch deck, right? And it's important that we think about this team mission statement from the business perspective. As you are coming from different companies, different teams, and different backgrounds, obviously it would be hard if we create a team mission statement like all together. That is why what we are going to focus on during this workshop, let's say, is let's think from the perspective that all of us are like agile practitioners, agile leaders, project managers, scrum masters, so think from the perspective of why does this team, this like community of agilists exist? Okay, how do we help actually our teams perform better? So think from that perspective, because all of us here, we are kind of part of the same community, right? So think from that perspective. So what we do, how would you explain it to someone, let's say to a new customer, to your management, to other teams? What do we do? How do we do it? What would you choose to put there? Again, do not focus on the tactical things, but think more strategically. And why actually we are doing this, okay? How would you explain this? If you have any questions before we jump into groups, I'm going to put you into breakout rooms so that you can do a little bit of discussion all together. And then you will need to, put like sticky note in each of these three circles. Let's say what, you are creating a sticky note here. Then in how, again, you can make it smaller like this. And then in why, okay? Each group is going to put one sticky note per circle. Any questions what we are doing? Any questions about the exercise? Okay, perfect. Okay, let's do it this way. I'm going to give you like 10 minutes, and I'm going to put the timer here once I put you into groups. So again, in the groups, you can discuss and put your overall thoughts on one sticky note per each circle. Yeah, we're good to go. Okay, so let me just break you into rooms and then we start. Okay, breakout rooms. So there are 22 people. Let's say we have 6. Okay, so 6 rooms. Let me see, 4 people here. Okay, opening up the rooms and setting the timer. People are still writing. Very good. Very good. Very good. It's really hard, a little bit hard to define. I guess this one is what here on the left side out of the circle. But yeah. Okay. The most important things to know about the team mission statement, again, that you do not want to concentrate on the outputs, right? So you do not want to say, I don't know, you do not want to say, we want to, I don't know, finish all the tasks, or we are here to do the development of our product or things like that. When we are defining how, it is not about, let's say, it is not about our daily routine or, daily practices that we are using. It is more about like our strategy of how we are planning
to realize actually what we do, right? And when we say why, it's more about the value that we create for our customers, for our teams, for our company, etc. So those you can think of those as the benefits that you are going to bring. And why would people, let's say, want us as agile practitioners in their company or in their team? What is it that they see that they will get a value from our mutual collaboration? So this is the benefit and like the expectations of the teams and the companies we are working with. So now we have some ideas here. Thank you so much for your discussions. So what we are going to do, we are going to pick one what, one how, and one why from all of the ideas that you have shared so far. And we are going to do this through majority voting. I love Mural because it has all the necessary tools to do it. So I'm starting a voting session. How you are going to vote? Actually, what you need to do is, first of all, we are going to vote for the what. So you have only one option for voting. So you will have to simply click on a sticky note and you will see it says one, and that's it. Okay. So right now we are starting the voting for what. So pick only the sticky notes that are in the what circle. Yeah, are we clear with this? Okay, cool. So let's start. I'm not going to vote, but again, just to show you again, once you press on it, it will show one, which means that you have voted. If you want to remove the vote because you made it by mistake, then you can just right click and remove the voting. Okay. And also it shows how many people have voted and who is still in the process. So we have 30 people right now voting, although I think there were like 23 people on the call. But yeah. Let's do this very quickly. Okay, 5 people left. Yeah. Voting session for everyone. And let's see. Okay, we have 2 votes. We are all over the place. Facilitate teams to be people-oriented and very driven to be able to solve problems. Facilitate team to be helping each other. Support the operational processes of the team, increase efficiency and effectiveness, helping teammates to reach the growth mindset. Okay, actually, as agile practitioners, it's not only the facilitation that you do, right? You are wearing different hats. You can be coaches, you can be teachers, you can be mentors, you can be facilitators. So it's not always about facilitation. There are some areas or some situations where people just need you to teach them on something. For example, they do not know the practice, right? They have never used, I don't know, story point estimations. So you cannot facilitate a discussion if they don't know it, right? This is where you are going to teach them. So it's more about all of these competencies that you need to do as an agile leader, right? So you have to develop these competencies gradually, depending on what exactly is needed for your team to feel more comfortable working together and delivering, right? So regarding the operational processes, it's not always about operational processes like we are talking about human beings, right? We are talking about collaboration. We are talking about like awareness. So about their specific behaviors as a team. So it goes more than that. Helping teammates to reach growth mindset. That's, I think, a better one. This is my opinion. Just because when people reach the growth mindset, meaning that they understand that it's about us, it's about, learning and experimenting, it's not about failure, that we are in this together, right? And all of these things, then the rest is much easier, right? But that's my personal opinion. I mean, you can have other opinion. We just have to see the full context. We have to look at this from this helicopter view, right? Let's try to do the second round of how, and let's see what do we pick from here. How? So again, one vote, and let's start. So we are ending the voting session now, and let's see what do we have. And session, okay, coaching, taking the leadership over the processes and removing impediments. Nice, we have 5 votes here. Okay, very good. So this is how we do it. This is where we actually have majority of voting. Okay, let's now vote for the why. Okay, so that's the third circle. And let's see why we do it actually. What's the benefit of it? Okay, let's see. What do we have now? Become self-organized team, accomplish deliveries. Again, we have, well, I would add a lot more things here, but definitely it's about creating a sustainable team, right? Creating a team that is empowered, creating a team that knows what they are doing and they are not afraid to take responsibility and to make decisions. That's our primary goal. Yes. So this is how how the mission statement looks like. We do this, for example, we help teams, right? To help them become self-organized and accomplish deliveries. How? By coaching, taking the leadership over the processes, removing impediments, etc. I wouldn't say that we take the leadership over processes, because what we want to do is we want them to be able to make their own decisions. So there might be a situation, especially with mature teams, that they might even change their processes, and they might come up with better ideas because they know what they are doing and they know what is actually needed for them to deliver the value. So it's not about us, leading the processes, but it's about us supporting them to understand what they can do, to understand their potential, to help them to unleash it, right? So in the beginning, when the teams are new, we are doing more like teaching, doing the job, mentoring, etc. But then after the time, once they get more maturity, we would be more doing like coaching and mentoring rather than teaching, or like managing or leading the execution or whatever it is. So that's our primary goal. So that's a team mission statement, which you can try with your teams. Now, let's go to the second exercise. The second exercise is about like, what is the glue that is keeping us together? Okay, we understood what we are doing and why we are doing it. And now, how can we work as different individuals who have different perspectives, different goals and different ambitions? How can we work together to create what we have promised to our company, right? How can we do that? This is usually done by the values and the norms that we are sharing, by the agreements that we have, right? And when we say values and norms, it's really important to understand that this is directly related to our results. to our performance. Let me just give you an example. Let's say you want to lose weight. If your values are, like determination, focus, lose weight, and these kind of things, then the norms and actions that you are going to follow would be, strong diets, I don't know, strong workouts, etc., etc. If your values more are like, healthy lifestyle, healthy food, or, being happy or whatever it is, then your norms and actions, again, would be backing up your values. Like you would be, I don't know, walking more, eating tasty, healthy food, etc. But the results that you are going to get might differ from your primary goals, right? For example, or the results that you get might not actually satisfy you, right? Because, for example, in the first case, you might lose weight, but you might not be in the best like health condition. But while on the contrary, in the second case, you might not lose the weight, but you might feel, happier, toned, energized, and things like that. So it's really important how you start, what you put into the center of what you are doing. So there is this exercise like performance tree, and actually this was introduced by Lisa Atkins, and it's a very nice exercise. So let's imagine that our team is a tree, and the roots of the tree are actually our values. So, for example, on this image, you can see that the values are actually the Scrum values. The leaves are our norms. So the things that are actually controlling our social behaviors inside of our team, our agreements, how do we, collaborate with each other. And the fruits are the actual results that we are getting. That's something that we want to get, but the results that we are getting. So, for example, here, what you can see, we own our decisions. We have constructive disagreement. It can be also, those can be also things like we are never late for our meetings, right? Or whenever there is a problem, we are discussing it all together, etc. And actual results are not the output, so we finish our tasks, but what you are actually creating as based on the example that I gave you. So we are like delivering faster, or we are creating more value to our customers, or our customers are happier, right? So you can even use some numbers, some data if you have, that would be much better. Or our team, let's say, switched from storming to norming stage or performing stage, something like that. So important things that we have to consider when we are doing this exercise. And also, once you do it, you will have to constantly review it. And the three questions that you might want to ask your team is, where are our roots weak? So what are the values that actually need improvement? What leaves do we want to work on? So which norms we want to improve, we need to work on those. And are we actually getting any results? And three important questions that you might want to answer when you are creating this exercise is how we deal with conflicts. For example, if a conflict happens, how do we acknowledge a conflict? How do we understand what kind of a conflict is this? Because in different situations, you will behave differently, right? If it's a, let's say, a world war where like both parties, they just they want to destroy each other, then the only thing that you can do in this situation is just, to keep them safe so that they do not harm each other, right? So you want to find some common grounds where they can start at least some communication before, doing anything else. So you want to de-escalate it. But if it's a simple disagreement, then obviously you might want to, gather them all together as a team and, understand the problem and try to come up with different perspectives and things like that. So it really depends on what are your agreements, what you are going to do if you acknowledge a conflict, right, as a team. How do we make decisions? right? Is it a majority voting, or maybe anyone can make a decision, or anyone can make a decision, but we have to review it together, right? So what are the agreements that you make as a team? Or how do we create accountability? For example, how do we keep each other accountable? If you see an agreement that is broken, what do you do then? That's also something that you want to agree with your team before the actual work. The more you stress on this kind of questions, like in the beginning, you might want to also put them into your working agreements. The more you do it, the less problems you will need to resolve later on, right? So what I want us to do with this exercise is, again, thinking from the perspective that we are the agile leaders that want to help our teams perform better, I want us to create our performance tree. So what are the actual roots for an agile leader, right? So what are the values that are really important for us, that will really help us, to be as efficient as we can? What are the norms that we have to follow so that we are able to, help our teams? And actually, what are some results that you see, maybe based on your values that you have right now? Yeah, any questions about the exercise? We are going to do this again within groups. Maybe I will switch the groups so that you have the chance to work with different people. I think that will be much better. Any questions about the exercise? Okay, very good. Again, 10 minutes. And let me just break you into the groups, and then we move from there. And let's see if everyone is here. Okay, let's see what are some things that we have. Okay, what do we have? Respect, transparency, trust, facilitation, communication, motivation, leadership, openness, trust, quality. Yeah. What about the leaves? Respect other people's time. Very good. Listen to each other, respect each other. Yeah, have a clear vision, collaborate often, make aware of the contribution. Yeah. As I said, remember about the 3 questions that you have to be really careful about. So no one wrote about this. Like, how do you handle conflicts? Or how do you make each other accountable? For example, one norm would be if you see, let's say, or a rule would be if you see that an agreement is broken, you tell about it to the team or you gather to discuss it, right? For example, just as an example. Or if you have to make a decision, then you gather together to check for different alternatives and then decide together what's the best decision to make. Or if you see a risk or a problem, then you discuss those early on, let's say within the sprint, so not to copy it later on at the end of the sprint. So those kind of things can help your teams be prepared. What will happen if a conflict arises? What will happen if somebody is not working or is not coming to the office or is not responding? For example, what would you do as a team member? Would you wait or would you do something else? Or what would you do, let's say, if someone is gossiping? Would you talk to that person or would you just ignore this, right? And we all know that gossiping is kind of a basis for a toxic culture. So those are the situations that you want to think of. You cannot think of all of the situations that might happen, but at least some potential situations that might happen in your team, knowing your team, right? So this is where you can create a real value for your team, understand where they are and what are some potential needs that they have and address those, prepare agreements on those so that they feel more safe. So feeling safe means that you feel that you have your back up, like you have this backup, right? Meaning that you have the agreements that would help you to deal with difficult situations. Okay, and the results, avoid useless meetings. Okay, so avoid useless meetings. I don't know. It's definitely not a result. Again, this is
I
more.
think we thought that it's a result of respecting
Yeah.
each other's time.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Okay. But in that case, I would say it differently, because this is like too negative, meaning that the events are useless, right? You might say, you know, we have decreased or we have eliminated waste, or now we work like more efficiently, faster, or our cycle time is shorter, or whatever it is, right? So try to make it as a result, and to be in a more positive way.
Positive.
Yeah, yeah. Generating key point ideas and solutions, deliver value. Deliver value, this result means that before that, you have never delivered any value. Do you see my point? So either you did not deliver value previously, and now you do, or maybe you might say that right now, whatever we deliver goes into production without any errors, or our customers are happier with our delivery, right? Or something else, something like that. High performance. High performance cannot be a result. Again, it's too vague. Like, what would you say? What has changed, for example? You might say that, you know, like there is a, now we have a better team cohesion, or we, our completion is, I don't know, 100%, or we meet our goals, or whatever it is, right? Constructive disagreements, discussions, okay. Okay, that's the performance tree that you might want to try with your teams. It's very powerful, and you will have to revise it again. And it would be great if you have some newcomers that you would also involve them into this kind of discussion, showing them your team mission statement, your agreements, like team values and norms, so that they understand what kind of a team they are in. And just imagine how that would help in the onboarding process, right? You will just also save up your time, right? If you show them this, let's say you have this document or whatever it is, this poster or anything, and then they just read it and they understand what kind of a team is this. Okay, and the third exercise that I want us to do is about our goals. So again, before we continue, how many of you have clear team goals? Again, please put plus in the chat so that I know what's the situation with the team goals on your side. How many of you have clear team goals? How many of you know what their teams are doing, actually? Okay, clear team goals. 2, only 2? Interesting. Okay. Okay, good. Now, how many of you actually know how to measure those goals? You have clear measurements that allow you to understand where you are in terms of progress. Okay, again, let's go with the pluses in the chat. Clear measurements to achieve the goals. Oh, that's interesting comment. Plus with a question mark. Okay. Okay, another question. How many of you actually experience problems with the action items? Meaning that you define them, but then it is really very hard to bring them to life. So most action items or improvement actions are actually written somewhere in the documents, and usually it's really hard to bring them to life. How many of you experience a similar situation? Again, plus, put plus. Okay, yep. I guess a lot more people experience this problem. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, let's see. Now, with this exercise, again, thinking from the perspective of the agile leader who is eager to help their team to increase performance, there are really 4 areas that we have to concentrate on, right? What are our goals? Again, I'm not talking about the OKRs here, right? We are talking about the teams. So the team goals might be related to their performance, might be related to product, might be related to their well-being. So anything can work here. Usually you have like 2 types of goals, right? The ones that are product related, like like we are creating this product and we want to launch it in this market by this year, or we are doing this beta or whatever. But we also have like our team goals, like team performance goals, which are related more to how we work, how we perform, what's our productivity, efficiency, etc. So those are the goals that we want to put in front of our team. Then how do we measure, right? So we know that measurement should be really specific, right? It should be either numbers, percentage, or it can be something that we know how to gather this data. We know how to test it, how to measure it. So it cannot be something vague. For example, if you put a goal like improve collaboration, that's too vague. And then I will ask you, okay, how you are going to measure it, right? So you have to be really specific about it. And then the third question you want to ask yourselves is, how do you expect to learn from it? How you are going to learn? So again, depending on the goal, are you going to use any events like retrospective, any feedback loops, or is it going to be like survey, or what is it going to be? How you are going to learn? Yeah. And then the fourth step would be like your actions, like what you are going to do next. Okay, you have these 3 things. What would be your actions right here? So again, depending on the way that you are going to learn, your actions also might be different, right? So let's try to do this again with groups. Try to come up at least with 1 team goal. Again, the team is our agile community. So as agile leaders, what is our primary goal? Okay, how we are going to measure it, how we are going to learn, and what actions do we need to do actually as first thing. So there might be a lot of actions, but let's come up with, some examples. 1 example, let's say. Okay, Maria, thank you for participating. Okay, any questions about what we are doing? Okay, very good. Okay, let me break you into groups. Then again, I'm going to change the groups so that we try to work with different people. Okay, let's wait for the others to come back to the main room, and let's see what do we have. Okay. People are coming back. Okay, very good. We are back. So what do we have actually? We are back on time. Very good. So what do we have actually? Like increased team performance. Again, in some of the rooms, I think they were discussing this, that it's, again, it's too generic in terms of it would be really hard, right, to measure it, because if you say, let's say, we want to, for example, now we are delivering this much, but we want to deliver that much, or we want, I don't know, to have a quality of work with, I don't know, no defects, or we want to have a team, we want to own our decisions, or something like that, which is like more specific, like about the team performance, then it would make sense. But now the way it's written, it would be really hard to say, what does it mean for you, increase team performance? Increase by percentage, increase by something else, right? Burn down chart, identify blockers faced by the team, find solutions to improve the metrics. What do we have? Performance again, sprint velocity, throughput, number of items completed. Okay, repeating impediments, blockers. I love this one. Repeating impediments and blockers. Yeah, very good. Plan of actions to target removal. Okay, then what else do we have? High performing team. Okay, that's yeah. Well, again, everything is too generic. I would make it like more specific. Committed and completed goals, burn down chart, burnout chart, percentage of return tickets. Okay, learning through blockers. Okay, so look, all the measurements are very practical and tactical, and they are actually talking about our efficiency. Because remember, in performance, like when we talk about the high performing teams, there are so many things that are intangible. So we might use intangible measurements, right? For example, how well do we know each other? Like, what's the team cohesion level, team health level, right? We can use different radars for this. We can use the retrospective. We can use the observations. So yeah, again, think from the perspective which measurements are actual for which goals. It's also important. Learning through blockers, impediments. Okay. Help the team focus on delivering business value. Okay. Team commits to the acceptance criteria in each story. Retrospectives, delays. Yeah, very good. Okay, plan of actions to target removal of blockers, understand problems, analyze them, and set exact action how to concur. More collaboration in grooming sessions. Find solutions to improve the metrics. Okay, so what would happen? Let me just ask you this question. What would happen if during a retrospective, your team comes up with this kind of actions? What do you think would happen? Any ideas? Would they actually realize those? For example, if the action item is find solutions to improve the metrics.
I think it's
There
not
is
an
no
action item,
measurement
it's the
here.
goal.
Yeah, sorry?
There is no measurement here yet that you can find, like, to improve metrics, which metrics, how much it should be improved.
Okay, very good. We had also another idea.
Yes, yeah, it's me. I think that it's not an action item, it's a goal.
Yeah. So also it's important why I mentioned this, because it's important to understand the difference between decisions and actions. Most of the things that you have written in Do Next are decisions, which is good, which is not wrong. I mean, the first thing that is coming up to our minds when we are talking about, okay, what we are going to do next. The first thing is we are thinking of decisions, and decisions are long-term like goals or wishes that we want to do, to accomplish, right? So it's more like this. So this is our decision to do it. While action item should be, again, very specific. It's like the goal. It should be smart. It should be small so that you can, for example, start doing it right, from tomorrow. Like action item is, for example, set up a meeting with the PO to discuss, let's say, the way the user stories are written, right? Or an action item would be do the next retrospective, you know, having this topic, X topic in mind, or review, I don't know, the control chart to see like what's happening, what are the numbers of our cycle time, or, you know, revise the estimation. So things that you can do, or go read this book. Okay, it's very specific by the end of the month, right? So those are the actions. The rest of the things are our decisions. So the moment that you let your teams get out of the meeting with decisions, then you know that those decisions would be put on ice. Honestly, they are not going to be realized anyhow. You need specific small action items. So yeah, that was it for today. Actually, the last thing that I want us to do is to go to the section number 9, key takeaways and actions. So I want you to put one thing that you have learned or, you know, taken from this workshop today, which you promise that you are going to think about it, you are going to work on it. So one thing or two things, what did you like? What is it that you are taking with you from today's workshop? And if you liked what we did today, that's only a small part of my Agile Team Coaching program. And I'm starting the next group on February 9th. So if you want to join me and like-minded people in going through the program and getting more and deep understanding and usage of coaching skills, facilitation skills, and all of these exercises that I've prepared in Mural, then just drop me a message on LinkedIn or here. So there is this link. You can enter and review the program. If you press on the link, it will just lead you to the landing page. And for all the participants of the program, I'm just giving you also a discount. It will be active only for a week. So if you want to join, just drop me a line, or if you have any questions, you can write me on LinkedIn. That's it for today. Thank you so much for all your engagement and your active discussions and your collaborations. Yeah, so see you. Hope to see you. Thank you.
So much.
Thank you.
Thanks for the interesting workshop.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day, evening. Bye-bye.